dress for a night out?
Welcome to Crimewatch, live from Television Centre in West London, with detectives as usual here from all across the United Kingdom.
This is your chance to help with the fight against crime. And first, kidnap. A crime so serious it can carry a life sentence. Here, a gang targeted their victim. They knew where she lived and what they wanted.
Is there any work going in there?
I don't know.
So there might be.
I don't know, mate. Why don't you go round to reception? It's round the front of the building. Someone there would know. Hi, it's Sarah. This bloke's just been asking for work around the back of the warehouse. He seemed a bit dodgy. I just thought I'd let you know.
OK. I'll make a note of it and report it to the police. What does he look like?
He was a black bloke. Not tall, but not short. Maybe 5'7", 5'8".
So I called Alton Police Station, gave them the information that I had, got an incident number. I forgot all about it after that.
Eight days later, and over 20 miles away near the manager's home in Guildford, Surrey. Over several hours, 3 men were seen that Wednesday night. It's a narrow residential street, and because parking's at a premium, residents tend to notice who parks where.
I'd been into town with some girlfriends for some dinner at a nice Italian restaurant. We'd had pizza and a couple of glasses of wine and a bit of a catch-up.
Don't struggle! Where are the keys to your work?
We're not going to hurt you.
The first thing I thought was that I was going to be raped. That was my instinctive reaction, and that was why I went into a panic.
It's all right, babe, don't worry. It's got nothing to do with you. We just want the keys to your work. Where are the keys to your work?
They're not in there. They're in the key ring I had when I came in. They'll be on the floor.
Is it these? Which one is it? This one?
Give it to me. I'll show you.
Come on!
I can't see. I need more light. Is that one?
One of them was particularly menacing. He gave me the impression that he could probably hurt me if I didn't play ball.
Right, time to move. We're going to have to tie you and blindfold you.
Now, we're going to carry you over to the car now, OK?
I can walk by myself.
No. Can't do that.
I had my dad's voice in my ear. He used to be a bank manager, saying the best thing that you can do is to do exactly as you're told and cooperate.
Have you taken yourself for a head? I can't breathe.
Shut up!
Christ's sake, Jace, you can't breathe.
It was a half-hour drive at midnight from Guildford to the warehouse back in Alton.
Can you untie my hands? Otherwise that's going to keep happening.
Sorry, babe, we can't do that.
Oh, look, what do you think I'm going to do with you two here? Try and make a run for it?
Look, babe, it'll be cool. You spend a couple of hours down the neck with the cops and get a day off tomorrow. Everybody's happy.
That's enough! Who's got the keys? Who picked up the keys? I haven't got them.
Neither have I.
Come in, Tail.
I can see tail.
They were very keen to see where the other vehicle was. There were 2 holes on either side of the handles on the rear doors. It seemed to be a way of just seeing out because there were no other windows.
Right, I'm going to take you to the door and you can open it. You understand? Where's the security video?
I don't know.
Like I say, babe, don't worry. We're not going to hurt you.
He called me babe, and babes, but I figured it was just one of those things that was natural to his speech. It wasn't to do with me.
Do you know what it feels like to have nothing, babe?
I got it, let's go. You two, get in there and check it out. Where are the processors?
I don't know.
Come on, where are the brains?
The what?
The processors, where are they?
I don't know.
What about the sun servers?
I don't know. I told you I don't work in the warehouse. I don't know where they store everything.
The way that they asked for items, it sounded as if they knew what they were looking for. And although I couldn't see very much of any of them, I was pretty certain I'd seen at least 6 people. After about 45 minutes or so, or maybe an hour, a maximum, that there was a lot of thumbs up and a lot more smiles.
Yeah, right here. Hey! Nice one.
Wicked.
I could only see the runs that they did that came past me. I saw a fair few large items, which would be servers, which are very tall, very bulky. And when I saw those, I thought, well, they couldn't possibly fit all of those in the van that I was in. Not a chance. He seemed quite an athletic person. He had quite an athletic build. Not muscly, but quite lean.
Right, we're nearly done. You need to think of someone we can call to let him know you're here.
Right, we're finished. Come on, let's do it.
So you thought of anyone?
The only number I can think of is my boss's mobile.
Let's hope he answers it. Come on, up you get.
Right, we're going to leave somebody here for 10 minutes after we go, so don't think about moving. And don't do anything stupid like calling the police, OK? Now, we're going to phone your boss on his mobile in 40 minutes so that he'll know that you're here. That's how long we need to get away, all right? And remember, we know where you live.
Don't worry, babe. You'll be okay. Maybe we'll send you a bunch of flowers in the morning to say thanks.
The robbers never did make any calls to have her rescued. Eventually, she managed to struggle free. Well, this is DI Maria Woodall of Surrey Police. Maria's pretty unusual, isn't it, to go to such lengths, kidnap, to break into a warehouse?
Yes, that's right. It is quite an unusual offence, and that's why we're offering a £30,000 reward for information which leads to the arrest and conviction of this team.
Now, what about this team? We saw something about them in the film there. What about descriptions?
Well, there were 6 in total, we think, but there were 3 that were actually involved in the kidnap, 2 black men and 1 white.
Now, the black man that we saw, who was predominantly with the victim, he kept saying, what, babes, baba, that kind of thing?
Yes, he kept calling her babes, bubba, bubs, and he was also doing a bit of shadow boxing.
So pretty distinctive in terms of identifying him. And then he referred to another guy, one of the other black guys as well, didn't he?
That's right. There was another black guy in the back of the van with him, and he called that man Jay.
OK, now, the one thing we also saw was that someone came to the factory, to the warehouse rather, a week earlier, inquiring if there was a job going. Could he be connected?
Well, we'd like to know who he is because he asked for work at Pyramid, and then we know that he didn't go to any other business premises on the industrial estate.
I mean, obviously he may not be connected, but you'd just like to eliminate him either way.
Yeah, we would like to talk to him.
The white van in itself was not particularly distinctive. It was just a high-sided white van without any markings on it. But these holes at the back, tell us about those.
They're about thumbnail sized, and there are 2 on each back door and also 2 on side panels. Now, the ones on the back door were symmetrically placed as if they were at the corners of a square. And
there's a mattress inside, wasn't there? We couldn't see that in the reconstruction, but you think that could be a good clue?
Yeah, it was in some sort of a frame, and it was a deck chair type material, a light background with beige, yellow and red vertical stripes.
We've got the pallet truck that they left behind. Now, I wouldn't know one pallet truck from another, but this one has got some distinctive markings on, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the offenders left this behind, and it's got upstairs priority.
Yeah, it's actually upside down there, but upstairs priority, and then there's some welding on it as well.
Yeah, at the bottom.
And let's just talk about these computers for a minute. This was some of the kind of stuff that was nicked. Is someone someone tried to sell them this or they saw this somewhere, how would they know that this was related back to this robbery?
There's a full list of the property on the Surrey Police website, but the monitors in particular were actually bought from the American market. They still have the American 2-pin plug on them. They're also unique in their design in that they've never been sold in the UK before.
All right, and then very quickly, this notebook as well. This is made for what, for the Spanish market?
Well, yeah, again, the notebooks weren't bought for the UK market. That one in particular is in Spanish.
OK, and has no pound sign. OK, well, those are the clues. If that means anything to you, if you can identify those men, call us or call the incident room on 01483 653930. You can also contact us by email through our website, www.bbc.co.uk/crime.
And if you can't solve that one, well, we've got other crimes maybe you can help with tonight, like an attempted murder on the streets of Blackpool, where no one came to help.
Oi, wait your turn, I've been tuning in for
A
ages.
hamburger killing, a mine around McDonald's that led to a fatal stabbing.
Is this yours? Or is this yours? Or what about this? We have a whole stack of antiques from a single haul. There have been 2 arrests today, as you may have seen, for the parachute murder of Stephen Hilder. They are not a direct result from Crimewatch, and the 2 have not yet been charged. We don't know if they will be. But there are direct results, not least 2 suspects who saw themselves on the programme and gave themselves up. Remember Charlie? She was wanted after 2 flatmates in Brighton said they'd been beaten and robbed. 60 viewers rang, and detectives discovered her name was Charmaine Briers. But Charlie saw Crimewatch Update and went to the police. She's been charged with robbery and been released on bail.
This man was wanted for credit card offences. Several viewers gave his name as Gary Lenton, a 25-year-old from Coventry. But he too saw himself and was so shocked he apparently dropped his pool cue. He's been charged with deception and is awaiting trial.
These pictures were from July's programme. 3 men were wanted after a big theft of jewellery. One was identified by viewers as Stephen Ward, but he escaped. Even so, it led officers to another man who's been charged with theft. And we've now got a proper picture of Stephen Ward. Is he watching this appeal tonight with you? Our number is almost always on the screen, 0500 600 600, if there's any way you can help. And now is Detective Constable Jackie Hames.
Can you help us find these 4 people? Take a look at their faces and call us if you know where they are tonight. This is Herbert Anthony Leslie, who's wanted for blackmail. We've been searching for him ever since he failed to appear at court last year. Herbert Leslie worked as a professional boxer and as a doorman before he disappeared. He may still be working as a bouncer. And there's been a tip-off he may be in southern Spain. If you've seen him in the UK or abroad, call us now. Next, Andrew Patton, or is it Andrew McKinnon? You may know him as either. He's been missing for the past 5 months, ever since he was due to appear at court on charges of kidnap and false imprisonment of a woman. Originally from Mile Cross in Norwich, he may be somewhere around Dundee, where we know he has family connections. We also believe he's travelling with a woman. Andrew Patton has problems getting around and could be in a wheelchair. Do you know where he is tonight? Ademiji Johnson-Ojo is also known as Paul Williams or Peter Johnson. He was charged with setting fire to an immigration centre in February 2002, but he disappeared from his bail address in South London and has been missing for the past year. It's believed he may be in the Lewisham or Catford areas of London. He has a scar on his left hand and a tattoo on his upper left arm, but please don't approach him. Call us here in the studio instead. And finally, this is Sam Onajigovi, who could be known under another name. I can't tell you the details about this case, unfortunately, but it is a very important inquiry being carried out by the Metropolitan Police. What I can tell you is that it's a murder. We need to know if anyone has ever seen Sam Onajigovi, and I mean, have you ever seen him specifically in England? If so, please call us now, 0500 600 600.
To Blackpool now, and an unprovoked ambush on a woman that could easily have killed her.
I was at my friend's party because it was a hen party. She was getting married the weekend after.
Thought you'd like that.
I can't believe it. The wedding's next week. I've still not got anything to wear.
Oh, have you been to New Look? They've got some lovely floaty dresses in there.
No, I'm going shopping with Neil tomorrow.
Oh, do you get the long face after the first shop?
No, he's really good. I think he secretly likes going to the shops with me.
So, how am I going to get out shopping tomorrow then? Never anywhere to sit outside them changing rooms, is there?
Does she need anything in particular? That boy's a bit of a squeeze.
See you. Friend's wedding.
I'm getting off now, mate. Are you going?
I've had a lovely time. I'll see you on the big day.
Okay, do you need me to call your cab?
No, I'm going to get one from Whitegate Drive.
Right, okay.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
See you later.
Get us a cup of tea, mate. Hiya.
Hi, it's me. Yeah, I've just left the party.
Yeah, can I call you back in a minute?
All right, okay.
I think she rang just before 2 o'clock, which is at the time that she was walking home, and I cancelled the call because I couldn't take it at the time, and I rang her back about 10 minutes later.
Cheers, mate.
And obviously, because she's going out, I wanted her to give me a ring to make sure she was back safe, or just to make sure she was home.
Hiya.
How was it?
Oh, it was really good. All the other girls have got their dresses there. Are you still going to come with me tomorrow?
Yeah, look, love, you know I love shopping, but well, I'm working nights, aren't I, love? I'm going to be knackered in the morning.
Oh, I'll have to go on my own then. Listen, keep talking to me. I'm on my way to Whitegate Drive. I'm going to get a cab. Yeah.
We got to the main road and I couldn't see any taxis. And I carried on walking and I still couldn't see any. And that's when I sort of started heading for home. When you're sort of walking and talking, you seem to get somewhere faster rather than if you're just walking on your own. Then I turned onto West Park Drive and I realised that there was a man behind me. So I told Neil.
There's a weird bloke walking behind me.
Well, just speed up across the road or something.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, fine.
Well, as I crossed the road, he carried on walking on the other side and got ahead of me. And so I could sort of watch him then, but he stopped at a junction. There's a junction called Kenman Avenue, and he stopped there and turned around, and so he was sort of looking at me then.
She said something like, "There's a weird guy kind of looking at me." She said, "Just talk to me for a minute." So I was talking to her, I was getting like a little bit concerned.
The next thing that I remember was I could hear something, and he was just like running towards me with a brick.
Lisa? Someone's attacking her. Lisa!
My heart was like thumping like mad, and then for a few seconds I was just kind of like just shocked. I just didn't know what the heck to do, like whether to carry on listening to her and see what was happening, or obviously had to get help for her.
When I fell over, he came down on top of me and carried on hitting me in the face. I just thought at the time like he was just going to keep hitting me and hitting me until I was dead.
Don't believe it. Hello, Blackpool. Yeah, I'm a PC at Preston. I've just been speaking to my girlfriend. She's being attacked. She's on West Park Drive in Blackpool. Can you get someone there?
And then for some reason, after a couple of minutes, he ran off. I got up, managed to get up, and I thought that I'd run over to the houses over the road, and I thought, well, you're going to have to sort of try and get somebody to help you or something. And like nobody had helped me, so.
There's just all sorts running through my mind, whether she was getting raped or attacked or robbed, or it was horrible.
I had a black eye, so it swollen up that much that I couldn't see out of it. It was all blurred, and I could see that there was a car over where it happened. But I thought that that might have been the man coming back to sort of finish me off or get me or whatever, so I carried on hiding until I could see a car coming down the road, and I just ran out in front of that car. And then somebody shouted me because I was going to start running away, but I realised that it was a policeman because I could just make out his uniform. Then felt like relieved in my life.
Detective Superintendent Kath Thundercloud of Lancashire Police is looking for whoever did this, and not just this, perhaps another attack, because there was a similar one about 4 weeks afterwards.
Yeah, it was similar in the fact that it was a lone female walking home in the early hours of the morning using a mobile phone, and where the attacker was actually followed for some distance prior to the attack.
She was also quite small, 5'4". I mean, so many similarities. It seems improbable you'd have somebody doing the same thing, two people doing the same thing there. What do you know about him?
We know that he's about 5'8", 5'9". We know that he's probably aged late 20s to early 30s. He's also got a very distinctive haircut, which is in the curtain style, but it's worth bearing in mind that he could have had that cut now.
And is he a local man, do you know? I mean, he obviously knew the area, but it was summertime, July, August. I mean, maybe he's a visitor. A lot of people visiting Blackpool at times.
That's right. That's why we're asking people, really, who could live away from Blackpool. So we're saying if you've got a son or a relative or a friend who fits the description and who maybe came home with a blood-stained shirt at the end of July, to get in touch with us.
Now, the first, in fact, you believe in the first case it was very nearly a murder. She could easily have been killed with that brick.
Yeah, she could have been.
And in
yeah.
the second one too, he beat her with this. In fact, it broke. This is what it would have originally looked like. What is this? It's a sharpening iron for a...
It's a butcher's steel, that's right. So what we're appealing for really is for anybody that's got a set of knives with one of these in to check them and to see if you've got one missing, and if you've got any friends or relatives fitting the description, to get in touch with us.
This one had a finger protection on it, the actual one used in the attack. He would have been bloodstained afterwards, presumably, when he went home.
That's right, yeah.
There may have been other women attacked who haven't reported. Obviously, nobody's as savagely hurt as these two, but you have had reports of women being punched in the face, guy coming out of nowhere.
There's been similar attacks where women on mobile phones again have been attacked and punched in the face, and there's absolutely no motive for that either, because the offender actually doesn't say anything during the offence.
But obviously we want to hear from police officers, prison officers, anybody from around the country who knows similar attacks like this, or women with very similar attacks. A guy who looks like this, because you don't know that he lives in Blackpool. He could be anywhere.
No, we don't, so we're asking everybody really, look at the description.
Now, three witnesses in fact you want. We showed in the reconstruction a white Peugeot. Didn't stop. That may not have stopped for very good reason, actually. May have been a bit worried about what the hell was going on there, but you desperately need that driver to come forward, maybe a taxi driver or whatever.
That's right, it could be a vital witness. He's actually driven along the road that the offender has actually run back along, so they could have seen the actual person who did the attack.
And tell us about the two other witnesses you want in Church Street. This is before the second attack in August, two kids.
Yeah, there's two kids that have actually approached her on Church Street. One is about 11 years of age, slim build, wearing a black beanie hat. The other one is 15 years of age, again wearing a black beanie hat, and they're both on pedal cycles. We need to speak to these people.
Now, these are nice guys. I mean, they're not in trouble at all. You just need to speak to these. So if that was you, please give us a call. And if you know anybody like this, if all these or any of these clues can fit together, a guy who looks like this who was in Blackpool at that time, July, August, 0500 600 600, or the incident room on 01772 410 800.
Antiques now. Avon and Somerset police have recovered all of these and around 4,000 more. Because the court case is pending, we can't give you any more details now, but I can tell you that Crimewatch viewers played a role. We'll tell you everything after the trial is finished. Meanwhile, these antiques need their owners, and Paul Hayes can tell us all about them. Well, Paul, these are just part of the 4,000 haul the police have got. What grabs your eye particularly?
That's right. Well, we're trying to get some of the most unusual items. If we start with this map here, this is a 17th century map that's of the Aegean Sea, and it's been printed in black and white and hand tinted at the time, but it's by a very prominent cartographer called John Speed, who was a cartographer to the royal family. And it's part of a set, I think. It's been probably one of 15, maybe that's come from a book illustration.
And how much would something like this be worth?
Individually, probably £300 to £500, but part of a set is probably quite a lot.
And what is it that the owner of this needs to tell us tonight, to identify it as theirs?
Yeah, it's been exhibited at a prominent gallery, so we don't want the name of that gallery.
Okay, that's the information we need.
Okay.
Now, what about this?
This is fantastic, superb quality. It's obviously a riding crop. It's been presented to a horse trainer in the late sort of 1850s. It's made of leather and wicker, but it has a solid gold mount at the top and this mount here. Absolutely superb. It's got a little engraving of the particular horse and the name of the horse.
And that's what we need to know.
Yes. And that again, probably looking £300 to £500. Fantastic.
All right. What about this thing over here? I've never seen anything like this.
This is called a barograph.
A barograph?
Yeah, you know, we know we're all obsessed with the weather. Now what this does, it measures atmospheric pressure. And this little tube here is filled with a vacuum, and the slightest variation in pressure decreases or increases the volume of the vacuum, and it's measured on this graph here. Now these are very popular around about 1920, 1930. It's an oak case. It's a prominent manufacturer. That's what we're looking for.
And how much would something like that be worth?
You're looking at approaching the £500 mark, £400 to
£500. Okay. Well, what about this? You know, I have to say, there's something that grabbed my eye on here, which is this little brooch here.
It's hard not to notice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really. This is diamonds and platinum. It dates from about 1840, and it's called a starburst design. Now, in 1835, there was a passing of Halley's Comet.
Ah, I see,
And
right.
there was a fascination, anything to do with the stars and astronomy. Wonderful quality. But that, again, has a slight alteration to its setting. I won't say too much, but that's what we're looking for.
This must be pretty valuable.
Yeah, you're looking £3,000 to £5,000.
Right.
Beautiful.
Put that down straight away. and just quickly, tell me about this one
This is the
here.
Holy Grail.
Right.
A wonderful chalice. This is what they call pierced work. It's got the wonderful garden scene with these floral decorations. Fantastic. That's French silver. Wonderful stuff.
And I did notice this quickly because this little porcelain, this is was it Cousin Ribby from Beatrix Potter? My 5-year-old would know all about that.
Well, that's right. I mean, sometimes it's the quirkier things. Somebody might recognise that. It's from Beatrix Potter. It's only 1970s, but they were found along with some other porcelain figure items, so hopefully the owner can identify
whoever who that belongs to, that will mean something to them. Well, if any of these are yours, call us now, 0500 600 600. And now, with an update of your calls so far this evening, DC Jackie Hames is over at the phones with Chief Superintendent Jeremy Payne in a new job, so he's in a uniform.
Calls are coming in on the robbery at Alton, where the finance director was kidnapped and computer equipment was stolen. We've had a suggestion as to who Jay is, and somebody just told me over my shoulder we've had a really good anonymous call as to identity of another gang member, and that clicks into all our clues around boxing and the transit van. So that sounds really promising.
Yes, we've had quite a few calls coming in slowly at first on the 4 faces I mentioned. Andrew Patton, we've had some information that he may have changed his appearance by cutting his hair. That sort of information is obviously really helpful, but keep calling. Nick.
Coming up, a notorious child murder from the 1970s. Will people finally be prepared to speak out?
And do you know whose house this is? A first on Crimewatch, computer graphics of a crime scene that could help catch a rapist.
We have another reconstruction first, a senseless murder which began with a row in McDonald's.
What do you think? They look really good.
Yeah?
They really suit you. Let's see how they go with that top you got.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hiya, Gav. How are you?
Not so good, actually. Life's a bit poxy at the moment. You two been shopping, then?
Yeah, over at the market.
What do you think?
Yeah, very nice. Can I have a bite of your burger?
No, you can't. Yeah, you can have one on me, though.
Oh, nice one. Thanks, Julie. A cheeseburger, please.
Oi, wait your turn. I've been chewing here for ages. Can I have a large Big Mac meal with a Coke?
We're off. You coming?
Yeah.
You should learn some manners.
What are you talking about? There wasn't a queue.
Yeah, there was, and you jumped it.
Get lost, will you?
Hey, you can't talk to me like that.
But what exactly is your problem?
What, you trying to bully me? That what you get off on, is it? I'll phone the police.
You're going to call the police just because I got served before you? Oh, get a life. Oh, you got a knife in your bag? You going to put a knife out on me, are you?
No, I'm getting my phone.
Gavin, leave it, babe. It's not worth it.
You're pathetic, you are.
I'll get lost.
You bloody idiots.
Oh, I'm behind you girls. Go
Yeah,
on.
you bloody idiots.
What was that all about?
He tried to jump the queue and I wasn't having it. Anyway, what was I supposed to do? I just put in my order and everything. So what have you two been up to recently? Apart from shopping. See Jay?
Out for a few drinks? Yeah.
How is he?
Yeah, he's all right.
Give me my change. Come on, give me the change.
Did you? Did you
Yeah. And his mate Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
You know Trevor, don't you?
I do remember Trevor.
Come on.
Stupid. You know, someone said the other day that I make a great policeman.
I should do a lot of work on you to pass you off as a policeman. Security guard, maybe, but not a policeman.
Oh, chic. I reckon I'd make a great policeman. I've been stabbed. Call an ambulance!
Call an ambulance! Someone call an ambulance! You're stabbed!
It was only afterwards I realised that I wasn't very, at that point, I wasn't very far away I went to Holloway and went to church, and when I came out of church, which was about half an hour before the incident happened, I was just 200 yards away from the point where he died.
Help me. Call an ambulance.
Oh, jeez.
Julie, I'm dying.
Gavin, can you hear me? Talk to me, Gavin. Talk to me. Can you hear me?
Oh, mate. Okay. What's your name?
Can you hear me?
The last time I saw Gavin was 10 days on a Wednesday night, 10 days before this thing happened. I'd just like to know why whoever did this to Gavin, you know, why did they just come along and stab him in the back for no reason?
DCI Martin Lee's in charge of the case, and this really was a killing over nothing, wasn't it?
It certainly seems that way. There were very few people in McDonald's, as we can see on the reconstruction and from the CCTV. There doesn't appear to be any reason for this assault at all.
I mean, there really was no queue. I was just, the whole thing looked completely absurd.
Absolutely.
But we can see him on CCTV. He's relatively short, about 5'6". What else can you tell us about him?
We can. He's about 5'6" tall. He's around 30 years old. He's got a Mediterranean or dark-skinned appearance, perhaps Mediterranean or Kosovan or something like it. We know that he's of medium build and he wears this very distinctive beanie woolly hat with a distinctive motif on the back of it.
He had a little goatee beard, and he carried a 10 or 12-inch knife. He didn't run off to get this.
That's right.
This is something he habitually carries.
He carried the knife, it would seem, in the backpack with an Adidas logo on it that he had on his back. And yes, he was prepared to produce that knife and use it.
So a guy with an incredibly short fuse and an incredibly big knife is a very, very real danger to the community right now.
Yes.
Presumably when he went home, I mean, he doesn't kill every a few minutes, one hopes, so he would have been very agitated. This is a month ago on a Sunday lunchtime.
That's right. We think he was probably local because he ran away, and I think he knew where he was running. So he'll have got home perhaps to a partner or a friend or a relative in a very agitated state, perhaps sweating, with an excuse for why he was in that condition.
Well, there've got to be people in North London who can put a name to this guy and tell us where he is. If you know him, call us before he kills again. And incidentally, should it help, there is a reward, about £10,000 on this one, so give us a call. Or you can call the Instant Room on 020 8358 0200. Now here's Chief Superintendent Jeremy Payne with some CCTV.
Some amazing footage in a moment from the flooded interior of a top-end department store. First to a bookmaker's in Useley in Middlesex. But this customer wasn't here to place bets. He threatened the staff with what appeared to be a gun in a plastic bag and demanded cash. We also want to talk to him about a further 12 robberies, all in betting shops northwest of London. Can you help us find him? Next, an unprovoked attack on 2 students in Bingley, West Yorkshire in April. The 2 victims had just left Big Fella's nightclub. We believe at least 9 of those in the group were directly involved in the attack, and the rest are important witnesses. Most distinctive are these 2 wearing similar striped sweaters. One of the victims was so badly injured that he's having to miss a year of university. Do you recognise them either individually or as a group? My colleagues in the City of London want to talk to this woman who opened a Lloyds TSB bank account in Harlow, Essex, with a stolen passport and a fake electricity bill. She also paid fraudulent cheques into the account. So who is this mystery banker? And finally, this footage comes from the famous Harvey Nichols department store in Knightsbridge, central London. A man started tampering with one of the sprinkler taps on the ceiling, and this is what happened. 80,000 gallons of water flooded the store through this one tap. Do you know who he is? We think he may have been drinking in the 5th floor bar shortly before this happened. These two girls were also seen on CCTV at the same time. They are important witnesses, and we'd like them to come forward. £250,000 worth of goods were damaged, so it turned out to be much more than a prank. Tell us who this man is. If you can help with any of these cases, call us here in the studio 0500 600 600.
High tech is becoming more and more important to detectives, and tonight, for the first time, we're going to show you 3D computer imaging of the scene of a crime. It's a technique that until now has only really been used behind closed doors, for example, by anti-terrorist squads. And though these graphics might look like computer games, tonight they could help catch a rapist. First, we're going to show you a reconstruction of what happened. This is 6 months ago in Brixton in South London, and a girl is out playing with some other children from the neighbourhood.
My daughter is just a baby, but the way she's tall in her appearance, you'd think that she's a grown person. But she's just a 12-year-old girl. She's an innocent girl.
Well, come here. Come here, girl. We're not gonna bite or anything. Just come here for a second. What's your name?
Why? What's yours?
Jake's. Marvin. James. Carlson. How old are you?
How old are you?
18. I'm 14.
I'm going then.
Hold up. Ask us something. Yeah.
What school do you go to?
St. Joseph's. She doesn't mix with people a lot. She doesn't meet boys anywhere because she goes to a girls' school, and she said that they were nice. So the boy was tricking her to trust him because the boy has got a different agenda in his head. He's got a different agenda altogether.
Okay, let's go.
We're not finished yet. It's getting cold. I need a jacket. Who's coming back with me?
No, not me, man. No, me neither, bro.
Come with brother, man. What about you?
No.
Come on. Up the hill, it's only about 5 minutes.
I'm still not going.
Alright, it's not far. Come on. Just come.
Look on my arm.
The route they took was from Christchurch School, past Christchurch, then up Christchurch route. They went a bit further up, and she said that they turned. At the turning was a bus stop without a shelter, but that's the only thing she remembered from the route they took, so she didn't know where they were. I asked her, "Why didn't you scream?" She said, "Mum, I can't." I said, "Why?" "Because the boy keeps telling me, hurry up, hurry up. If you don't hurry up, you're taking too long and something bad will happen." So she just stayed quiet and followed the boy.
No! What are you doing? No!
Anytime I look at her, it just come back. That day just come back. Anytime I look at her. 'Cause I can see in her eyes how scared she was and how she's feeling deep down. Deep down, she has been destroyed.
DC Grant Bishop from the Met is trying to find the man who destroyed her. And you think it was a man. Although he said he was 14, he could well be much older than that.
He could be 17, definitely.
Now, the extraordinary thing you're being able to bring us tonight is this 3D graphical illustration of the girl's evidence. And she was obviously a very, very good witness.
It's because she's been able to give us such a good description of the scene where she was raped that we've been able to produce such good graphics.
Now, take us through. If we start now this graphic sequence, it's a terraced house. You think it's got a porch like this, and she said it had a reddish door, perhaps dark red, with this sort of lion knocker.
That's right. It's a large double-fronted house with a gravel drive and 2 gates at the front.
She waited outside this door for a bit, then he found some excuse to get her into the house, and then he took her upstairs.
That's right.
And explain what happens here.
He took her up 3 flights of stairs and straight into a room just to the left there on the picture.
But had a brown wall in the hall, she thinks?
She recalls all the colours vividly, and she's very
direct about what colours she saw.
So perhaps there was another entrance to another flat or something. A big television. He said he'd broken some glass and wanted to help her clear it up, but that was all a bit
possible
of a blind.
ruse to get her upstairs, that's right.
OK, so there's a big TV. We don't know if it's a widescreen one, but certainly quite a chunky one.
But the border and the colour of the walls is the most distinctive thing.
And what's that on the left? My DJ Kit.
That's right.
There's a PC there on the desk.
I mean, if anybody knows that room, then it's one of a kind, isn't it?
And is that a football? It is, isn't it? A football motif.
Football border all the way around the room, yeah.
On this pale blue background, and actually, look, it goes into the bedroom as well.
Mm.
Now, this is where he took her, and although she's only a child, he raped her.
This is where he raped her and knocked her unconscious. That's right.
She was knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
And this very, very distinctive. Was that a duvet cover or a bedspread?
It was a quilt cover. She described the pink on the bed sheet perfectly, and the quilt cover with the green star on it. She was very direct about that.
And there was a shower room or something.
When she came round after being knocked out, she noted that her attacker was in that room taking a shower.
Now, he called himself Marvin. You think he was more than 14. There was something about his left eyebrow. Tell us what that was that she said was distinctive.
He had 2 slashes through his left eyebrow and a tooth missing on his lower tooth.
Tooth missing?
Yeah.
Lower one. And the hairdressing department perhaps got it wrong as far as our actor was concerned, because he had a much shorter hairstyle.
He had a short afro, not the cane rose as shown on the video there.
Tell us, Grant, about the 3 boys who were with him at the beginning, because they had nothing to do with this whatsoever. They probably had no idea.
They played no part other than they were with Marvin at the early part of the day. They probably know nothing about this rape.
But they are your best bet, because they will lead him
We need to speak to them urgently. They are our main source of this investigation.
So either they've got to persuade Marvin, or whatever his real name is, to come forward, or better still, they've got to ring up tonight.
They need to call me as soon as they can, and we can eliminate them, and we can hopefully catch them.
When you say eliminate them, they're not suspect at all?
No, they're not suspect, but we can hopefully point out who they are, and through them possibly get to Marvin.
OK, give us a call if you're one of those 3 kids. Somebody knows this youth, somebody knows that house. Tell us who he is, where he lives, where that house is. 0500 600 600.
And to Belfast next, and a police inquiry that started so long ago the people involved could now be anywhere. And those who know something may finally be prepared to talk. We're travelling back some 30 years to 1973, a time when Northern Ireland's troubles were only just past their peak, and army patrols were on the lookout for anything suspicious.
It's a body. Go get the police.
OK, you 2 come with me.
Brian, he was all right. He was like any other normal boy. He was tricky, yes, but he was lovable. He was the youngest of the family, and anything you asked him to do, of course, he always said no, Mum. But in the end, Brian always done what you asked.
There were 5 children in the family. Brian's brother Eddie's now in his late 40s and lives in England.
Brian was very petite, very small kid, very small build for a 10-year-old, quite frail. It looked like, in fact, he didn't eat. He only ate junk food, I assume, like we all did.
He was so small, his charred and dismembered remains fitted easily into a Hessian sack. It soon became a very big inquiry.
I was in my bedroom at the time, and I realised there was something going on.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. McDermott. Yeah. Could we come in, please?
I had a lot of commotion going on downstairs, and a lot of screaming and crying and shouting. In the front room, there was a police constable with her arm around my mum. My dad was just sat in the chair, mortified. And I realised then it was bad news, that Brian probably wasn't coming home ever again.
Here's your toast, wee man.
Thanks, Mommy.
Sunday morning, and Brian was at home in Well Street off the Lower Woodstock Road in East Belfast.
Where are you going now?
I'm going to the park.
Put your jacket on. Here. Let me brush your hair. Don't be long. Your dinner's nearly ready.
Okay.
the window to see him going across the road. And I just saw his back. That was the last time I saw him.
We know Brian went straight to Ormeau Park, where in the next hour and a half he was seen by several of his friends, all of them now middle-aged.
Hello, Brian. All right?
I was taking my dog Spot for a walk.
Where are you going? I'm going over to the bushes to build a hut. All right. Bye. Bye.
It's just a normal Sunday. Brian seemed his happy self, and there's nothing different.
But an hour later, Brian didn't seem his happy self at all. When another friend approached him, he wasn't in the mood for play.
Will you come over there and play in those swings with me?
Soon afterwards, although this may be unconnected, a man walking his dog saw several youths crowded round a fire. The boys were swearing heavily, and he thought that something sinister was going on. A blue chopper bike was lying in the grass. A few minutes on, and a teenager went past him on a blue chopper and was violently sick.
You all right? Are you okay? Want a tissue?
Go look for him, will you, Eddie? Make sure he's all right.
All right. Come on, Charlie. Right, boys.
Brian! Brian! Brian!
I just stayed in to see if he'd come home, but he didn't. Of course, all that night, I kept my front door open, went outside to look for him, called his name, Brian.
Brian! Brian, come home, Brian!
Brian, come on home. But there was no signs of him, or nothing. Somebody had took him away and just took the life out of him. How he suffered. He must have suffered. Wish I had him now.
DCI George Hamilton joins me now. George, it's a tragic case, this one. And it happened 30 years ago, so why are you bringing it to Crimewatch now?
Well, yes, this is the 30th anniversary of this crime. And what we want to do is to bring the people responsible to justice and also to provide closure for the family. We can only do this if people come forward with the information that I'm confident is out there.
Now, the key thing is information you want now, 30 years on, witnesses. We saw quite a few people there in that reconstruction in Ormeau Park. It was what? It was the 2nd of September, last day of the school holidays, 1973. Let's talk about, first of all, about that group of boys.
Yes, the group of boys round the fire may be significant. What is significant is that they haven't come forward to the police, either the original investigation team or part of my review team. So we're keen to talk to them, if for no other reason, for elimination purposes.
There was something they said, wasn't it? Someone thinks they heard them say, "we jock."
Yes, this term, "we jock," now that may be significant. We know that Brian may have had still a Scottish accent. He came across from Scotland when he was 5 years old. That may be significant. There again, it may not. We need to talk to these people.
Of course, they may have nothing to do with it, may they?
Yes, that's right.
And then, of course, there was the boy who was seen racing along on his chopper, and then he was violently sick into the bin. Again, he might not have anything to do with it, but you still want to talk to him,
You still want to speak to him. In fact, there were other people in the park. There were people playing tennis. There were parents with children in the park, many of whom we know have not yet come forward to talk to the police. We want to speak to them because we believe that they may be able to give us vital information in relation to Brian's movements that could be very beneficial for the investigation.
And of course, they may not be in Belfast anymore. They could be anywhere.
No, there has been a large amount of people, especially in the 70s, who left Belfast and went to live in other parts of the United Kingdom. So that's why we're hoping that these people will take the opportunity of contacting us tonight to give whatever snippet of information they may have.
Okay, well look, you heard it there, your loyalties may have changed. There may have been reasons why 30 years ago you wouldn't talk to the police. You may talk to them now, or you might have talked to the police in the original investigation. The police who are looking at this now do want to talk to everyone who talked to the police before. You may be able to shed new light on the investigation. The number's 0500 600 600, or you can call the incident room on 02890 259 784.
It's still early days, but we may have found three of the group that attacked those two students in Bingley. We've got a name given for the killer of the guy after the row in McDonald's in North London. He's a local man, seems to fit the description. Have a chance to check that now. But right now, we're checking another name. This is the guy who raped a 12-year-old in Brixton. We're just finding out more details of that. The police are quite excited about that one. On the Alton robbery, 2 people giving the same names. Awful lot of things seem to fit the jigsaw puzzle in that one. That too is being checked right now. And Fiona's got some more.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic response on the Blackpool assaults. If you remember the 2 women who were viciously attacked, it could so easily have been a murder inquiry. It's a miracle it wasn't, to be honest. Very good leads, lots of names. The same name has come in twice. There's also someone who thinks they may have been attacked by the same person. A lot of the information we're getting in ties in with some of the leads the police have got already, but it is very strong information. Just quickly on the antiques, do you remember that diamond and platinum brooch? Someone's rung in who believes they belong to their mother, and they've given what appears to be the right clue for whether or not it does actually belong to them. So hopefully we will reunite them with it very soon.
Before we go, a reminder, the clocks go back on Saturday night, which means it's Halloween next week, and across the country pumpkins are being tenderly nurtured. This is your average size pumpkin. It weighs around 4.5 kilos. It's about 10 pounds if you're still in Imperial. And this is one grown by an enthusiast in Wigan. We've only got a picture of it, and you can't tell much from the photograph, but let me tell you, it is not 4.5 kilos, it's 68 kilos. That's 150 pounds or 10.5 stone, which is what I weigh. I wish. It was being grown by an 82-year-old Alfred Shacklady for a charity Guess the Weight competition for children in need. But a few hours after that photo was taken, back about a month ago, thieves broke into his garden and stole it. Now, it weighs so much that to take it out, I mean, imagine all these bags of flour. I think there are 45, 50, something like that here. Would have taken at least 2 people to carry it. Now, somewhere, maybe in the Wigan area, there's either a very large pot of soup or a very large pumpkin, which should have helped raise money for children in need. Who made the snatch from the pumpkin patch? Give us a call.
And all the numbers are on CFAX, page 61. And don't forget, you can see a reminder of some of tonight's cases, plus crime prevention advice on our website, bbc.co.uk/crime. If you've been a victim of crime, the victim support line is on 0845 30 30 900.
Our phone lines are open until midnight tonight, and tomorrow from 7:30 in the morning until midnight, and we'll be back rather later than usual tonight, about 11:15 with Crimewatch Update. And I hope we'll have more for you then. The latest crime stats came out last week. You might have seen them, and despite all the headlines about gun crime, you might like to know that fatal shootings are down from 95 a year to 80, one of the lowest figures in the world. Once again, the quarterly British Crime Survey shows that overall British people's experience of crime is down to the lowest figures since the early 1980s. So apart from worrying about scary journalism, there's no need to have nightmares. Do please sleep well. Good night.
Good night.